This horse's name is Lena. She's a 4-year-old registered quarter horse. She's between 13 and 14 hands tall. She's a gray, obviously, but she was born a buckskin. I've got 32 days of riding on her at this point. I'm going to do some basic things. I'm going to just show you that she's got a lot of common sense. I'll do some things with her feet, do a little plastic stuff, throw a rope at her. She's probably too small to be a rope horse. I guess in my mind, where she needs to go is to a smaller adult. I weigh about 200 pounds, and I might be about as big a guy as that should be riding her. So I think ideally a smaller person than me would be the right person for her. This horse is real agile on her feet. Like I say, she's only 32 days of training, so I'm going to be pretty obvious with a lot of my cues when I'm riding her, so you'll kind of see how I ride. And there'll be some stuff that I'm just kind of introducing to her, and I'll tell you when I do it so that you can kind of see what I'm doing to get her to do the things I want. And I'll get to work on her so you can kind of see what kind of horse this is. I think she's a pretty nice animal. I do this rope thing on the feet, mostly just to show that a horse has good common sense. It's easy to get along with. It doesn't necessarily make a horse a good riding horse, but it definitely gets him sensible. And it shows you that the horse's feet can be handled. You can do things with her. Come on. Come on. Come on. She is a registered quarter horse. She is kind of small. About half her pedigree is pretty much cutting stuff. The other half is pits or bred horses. So you'd kind of expect her to be sensible. She's a 32-day horse, doing some pretty cool stuff for a horse that age, at that stage. I'm going to do a little side passing here, and then I'll go through the gate and I'll ride in the lot a little bit. Nothing's going to be perfect on this 30-some day horse, so, you know, right now, still in the training mode. So there's pretty obvious cues that I'm using. But the fact you got to watch how she works, how she gives me an effort. Okay, I'm working on the flex in the neck, the head. When I pull her, I want her to give her head and turn her nose down, just like that. See how nice that is? And I'll walk her out, working on walking with that. Relax. We don't necessarily have to go through that. Quite a bit of just plain riding, where I don't really get into her face and her head too much. I'm going to cross the little mud hole here. Keep up with me. Little horse moves pretty good on her hind quarters. Pretty light on her feet. Oh. She kind of can get a little wound up, so she's got some speed to her. I kind of envision her being as maybe someday being a nice little speed horse for somebody if that's what they wanted. She'll look at a sheep. I haven't had her on cattle. She'll work sheep, and she'll work geese too, actually, believe it or not. But you know, she's by no means perfect or anything, but she's catching on to what I want. She will get a little wound up sometimes. Oh. But she's a horse with a little bit of life, got a good brain to her. Say she's a 32-day horse. She's getting the idea of the game. Probably ready for somebody else to take her and make her just the way they want her. Thank you for looking.